It may have taken them over 60 years, but I think they finally made the perfect Carrera. Hi everyone and welcome to Shah Lusso, and yes, today we are talking about the Tag Heuer Carrera that in my view is the perfect Carrera. Now before I get into what I love about this watch, I first want to talk about what I have disliked about a lot of Carreras in the last several years and what's really made them difficult for me to get my head around. And that is that there's always two types of Carrera really at any given point. There's your heavily vintage inspired ones that usually are even a reissue of a previous model, usually from the 60s. Or you have the modern ones which take a little bit too much from the period they're made in. A great example of that is the Tag Heuer Carrera Calibre 16 that I reviewed a few years ago. While still a great watch, when you look at it right away, you can tell this is firmly a 2010s watch. And this is a symptom of a lot of modern Tag Heuer Carreras, is they often look very dated. All that changed though in 2020 when they released the current crop of Carreras. Now, they still have their sort of modern Carrera, you might say, which is the Carrera 44 with the ceramic bezel, but they also released the Carrera 42 at that point. Now, this was much more vintage inspired, but not so much so that it was really a reissue. But the latest evolutions they released in 2023 brought that to a different level. Of course, they had their reissues as well. They had the glass box, the skipper, lots of great historical models. But what I really like is when they released the Tag Heuer Carrera 42 with the colored accents on the dials, making them look a little bit more racy, a little bit more modern, but while still being classically inspired. These are watches that when you look at them, they pay homage to Tag Heuer's racing history, but without making them look particularly dated or overly vintage either. And that's what I like the most about them. In terms of dimensions, they still have modern dimensions. You're looking at a 42mm case, over 15mm on the height, but because of the way that the case is shaped, it kind of hides that height away, and of course 100 meters of water resistance. So physically it's still very modern, but it actually is quite a timeless design without having to be an homage to an older watch. On the inside you still have the Heuer Calibre 02, so it's an 80-hour power reserve, vertical clutch, column wheel chronograph, but really what's the star here is the dials. Available in black or in blue with red and orange accents around the ring of the dial as well as around the registers. It just gives it that playfulness of a modern watch, but without overly dating it like some of the historical models. Something like the current Carrera 44, while an attractive watch today, I do get the feeling that its larger size, the ceramic bezel, will all date it a little bit in 4 or 5 years like we've seen with previous models before. Think of the Heuer 01s, think of the skeleton versions. All of these modern Carreras tend to date out quite quickly. This, I feel, is peak Tag Heuer in the sense that you get really good value on the inside. You get a design now that finally will not be dated in 5 or 10 years. Really, the only thing it's missing is a bracelet. But you can always order that as an extra. But what they've ended up doing is creating a timeless, modern Tag Heuer Carrera. And hopefully this is something they can carry on in the future. Hopefully this is an iconic design that can create a proper evolution of the original Carreras instead of having to lean on cues that are very much of the present or having to lean too hard on cues of historical icons. In any case though, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this newest Carrera and how do you think it stacks up to some previous ones, and which is your favorite approach to the Carrera in general? Do you prefer the ones that are a bit more modern, or do you prefer the ones that are a lot more closely designed and linked to some of their historical models? I'd love to know your opinions in the comments below. Of course, if you like this video, make sure you like it and share it. If you want to see more pictures and infographics of watches as seen throughout this and all my other videos, then make sure you follow me on Instagram at Shah Lusso. If you want to see more Tag Heuer content, there's playlists for that. And if you want to see a new video every week, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell as well. In any case, thanks for joining me on this quick video about one of my favorite Tag Heuers, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.